Hello plant friends, welcome to my tiny balcony here in suburban Sydney. Thank you for finding me and pressing play. If you're new here, welcome. I'm a novice orchid grower and I'm working out what grows on my east facing exposure, and this channel is my adventures in learning how to grow orchids and how to care for them so that I can replicate this beautiful flower right here. For those of you who have seen my previous videos may have noticed this beauty sitting in the background for the last few weeks. Now, I cannot take credit for this flower spike. It came like this, but with a few buds that were not open. This is Cymbidium memoria marvingale royale, and it fits my aesthetic of a yellow flower with a burgundy or red centre. I'm on a very, very limited space here, so I had to limit my collection somehow, and colourway is how I've chosen to do that. Why did I choose Marvin? Well, let's talk about Sydney's climate for a moment. Sydney's climate is described as wet temperate or warm subtropical. We have hot summers with up to 45 degrees Celsius, and those days can last for 5 to 7 days consecutively. Our winters don't freeze, so our temperatures get to an average of around about 5 degrees Celsius on a low, but we have had as far down to 3 degrees, but we don't really get frosts where I am. We don't get snow, but we do get a bit of hail. It does get cold enough for that. Most of you will laugh, but it is pretty brisk when it comes in. Now, our humidity goes up and down across the course of the year. So in the summer, it can get up to 90 to 100% humidity. And we can do the same in the winter based on what kind of weather patterns we have coming in either from the east or off of the deserts to our west. So in the process of learning about Marvin, I thought maybe I should have a look at his ancestry, his growing habits, his flowering period, and just generally how to care for this if it's different to any other Cymbidium. So let's talk a little bit about his heritage. Marvin is a hybrid with about 18 different species contributing to his DNA. Marvin was registered in 1994 with the Royal Horticultural Society, and he was developed by the Geyserland Orchid Company out of Rotorua in New Zealand. Marvin's parent plants are two hybrids in themselves, the first being Cymbidium Brook Street and the other being Cymbidium Tom Thumb. Both are pendulous, and that will also contribute to the flowering habit here. Now, in looking at some of the background for Marvin, I discovered that there were 3 species orchids that contribute to his growing habit. What we have is I'll just bring them around. We have a fairly good sized pendulous flower spike. On this one, I have 3 active pseudobulbs in the rather large bowl here. It's a compact, so the leaves are around about the 40 to 45 centimeter height, which are actually shorter than the total span of this flower spike. I found 3 species that lead to this particular habit, but also might be good for growing in my conditions. I'll just quickly do a run over them. So from the Tom Thumb side, there is Cymbidium floribunda, and I am going to read off of this because there's a lot into these 3 species. So floribunda, it's a species that is found in southern China in the Yunnan province. We've also got goes into southern Taiwan, northern Vietnam, and it can grow into some of the warmest spaces in Japan. So this will grow from 400 meters above sea level all the way through to the 3,300 meters. So warm to cold, and this means that it should hopefully, all going well, those genes come through, cope with my crazy summers here in Sydney. One of the other species that I have discovered is Cymbidium ioianum. I hope I'm saying that right. And this one was registered as early as 1879 with the Royal Horticultural Society. It grows cool to cold. So Vietnam, Thailand, South China again in the Yunnan province. but this one grows from 1400 to 2400 meters above sea level. The last one that I believe really contributes to this is Devonianum. Now, this one was identified and named in 1843. So Devonianum is found in the Assam province of northeast India. I'll just go back and read this because there's a lot. Eastern Himalayas, Nepal, Bhutan, Myanmar, Thailand, and Vietnam. It is a moist to cool, growing between 1 and 2,000 meters in the cloud forests in those areas. And it also is pendulous with large flowers. And the difference with this pendulous is that it hangs vertically rather than this arching spike. The last species that I found was Ciburnum eburneum, which is a small, medium to cool grower. Eburneum was registered in 1847 with the Royal Horticultural Society. The distribution for all of these is roughly the same in that golden area of Asia, going from northeast India in the Assam province, Vietnam, Thailand, South China, Eastern Himalaya, Nepal, Bhutan, and Myanmar. So I'm just going to pull Marvin forward a little bit here and turn him around. So hopefully we can see his beautiful flowers. Marvin is a small to medium compact grower. His pendulous inflorescence is longer than his leaves are tall. So Marvin's flowers are about 2 inches from the bottom of these two petals here through to the top of this dorsal one just here, with this beautiful red maroon labellum, which does look velvety when you look at it quite closely. There are about 24 flowers on this particular inflorescence, and most of these have opened over the last 2 weeks, so hopefully it means that he's very happy. These ones bloom from late winter through to summer, so quite long flowering period. Like all orchids, they require excellent drainage, so I'm probably going to do a repotting video for this one when this flower spike has completed, and I will end up repotting that every 2 to 3 years. The growing conditions for these is that they are a warm to cool grower. Given our summers, not sure how I'm going to water this yet, but likely every day to 2 to 3 days, depending on the humidity and the temperatures. Because I only get morning sun here, afternoon sun shouldn't be too much of a problem, but the sun is currently rising in the northeast and it will move back to east come spring and summer. I will get longer sunlight hours on this balcony. Because he is in flower and I don't have any new growths yet that I can tell, I am feeding him a bloom boost to keep these blooms as good as possible. The first flower, just looking at it, has lost one of its petals, but that's okay. That was open when I got it. So where does this one live? He lives above me here to the right, so I hang him. I haven't taken him inside, it's still a little warm inside, but that's okay. I can see him out my balcony and I enjoy it every morning. Okay, looking at Marvin's pseudobulbs, I can see that there are 3 pseudobulbs in this pot. There's only 2. So I have this year's growth just here with the flower spike coming out. And just around on the other side, I can see the new growth. So when this flower starts to die back, I will probably cut it and put it inside as a cut flower so that I can feed this pseudobulb as spring comes in. And then there is the previous pseudobulb from the first year's growth just behind the label here. So all in all, Marvin, he's beautiful. Fits my aesthetic. Does have a smell, but it's not a particularly pleasant smell. A little bit astringent, kind of like a dandelion. Nope, not a lot of smell. But he tells me that it's time for me to sign off and I'm going to listen to the expert. Until next time, thanks for watching, and if you want to continue following on for more videos like these, please consider subscribing. It's free, and also turn on the notification bells. So until then, thanks for watching and see you in the next one. Bye bye.